Hello everyone, today is self-esteem day. We are Saturday. I was thinking that the previous weeks I was talking about what improvement I can do on myself and actions that I can take in terms of what I think and what I do internally that only concerns me. But I was thinking that you're confronted to self-esteem when you are interacting with other people as well. And I have that in, like, obviously I interact with people every day, but actually it wasn't always the case. I went through a period where I guess my self-esteem in that regards was running quite low, and I was very scared of coming out of my house. At the time I was living in London, so London is not a small city. You will run into people eventually. um, and I was very scared of even coming out of the flat. I was scared to go shopping. I felt like I was just not a nice person. I felt ashamed of myself. I can't even tell you exactly why, but I felt like when I was coming out, everybody was looking at me and was seeing how, in my head, how I thought, how pathetic and ugly and just ridiculous I was, and how I felt like they could see all my flaws, all the flaws that I was the most ashamed of. I thought that they could see that instantly just by looking at me. And so that's why I really didn't like to come out. Going to university was a struggle. Like I said, going shopping. At the time, I wasn't even going to the gym. Uh, I wasn't exercising or indulging into any activities because I felt too uncomfortable just interacting with people. Just my presence, I felt like it was a nuisance to people. And one of my biggest fears is to be a nuisance for someone, for anyone at all, actually. So thinking that I would be a nuisance for strangers was even worse than being a nuisance for people that I knew, because at least people that I knew, I thought, well, they know me, so if they if I am here, they're kind of ready to be annoyed and for me to to be in their space, even though they think I'm ridiculous and maybe selfish. I was very scared of being selfish, self-centered. I was scared of not having enough to say or not saying the right things. Like, just being was a struggle. And little disclaimer, now I don't feel that way anymore. Sometimes in new situations with new people, then I get that rush again to feel like I shouldn't be here. I'm not appropriate, and I don't have my right to breathe that air, because there's this moment where I'm really thinking those people don't know you yet, so they don't know how annoying and bad and not nice of a person you are. And I always feel like I'm gonna get discovered. So I come out, well, very rarely. Even now, I've opened up a bit more, so I think there's a lot of progress. But even now, I'm very, very self-conscious, and I'm very scared to, to go and meet new people, to do activities where I'm going to have to interact with new people. Like, for example, in terms of sports, now I'm going to the gym, but the gym means that I have my headphones and I concentrate on my program, and people concentrate on their program, and I can just dive into the music and forget that everybody else is there. Because if I don't have my music, then I'm thinking, oh my god, they're looking at me, they're seeing that I'm not even exercising properly, and they're probably thinking, what the fuck is she doing here? Like, there's a lot of things going through my mind that are not rational at all, but nevertheless they go through my mind. So I train myself, like every day I force myself to think, well, is there really a reason to think that way? Have people um, have people told you that you are a nuisance to them? And even if they were telling me, I am not a nuisance. I have the right to be wherever I am. Uh, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying, yeah, if you want to stalk someone and trespass and get into their house, which is not your environment, yeah, go do it. I'm not saying to do that. But I mean, just going to a bar and meeting people, going to do maybe a class, a dance class or tennis class or whatever, and interact with other people. I know now that I have this right just like anybody else, and I think that just accepting my own presence is key, and accepting that my presence is just as legitimate as anyone else's presence somewhere. that's that was so liberating, understanding that everyone has the right to be, and I do too. I have the right to be around people, and I'm not more annoying than the next person, and I have something to bring just like the next person. And I think understanding that pushes me to go out a bit more, put myself out there a bit more, and um, even if I'm afraid to be in those situations, I really make a point of putting myself in those situations to ensure that even with the fear, I train myself to make it something normal. Like, I don't want it to be something that I do every once, like in a blue moon, and then it's very difficult. Like at that time where going to the supermarket was difficult. Like, I really had to prepare myself psychologically to come out. So yeah, but next week I want to talk a bit more about interacting with people, and this was just about accepting that I can be somewhere around people, and that no one is actually looking at me and thinking, oh my god, why is she there? um, but maybe going to the next step, and that's a practice. Every day I have to practice it. Every day I have to remind myself of those things, and every day I force myself, and every day when I force myself, I see that the reaction is not what I thought it would be. I am somewhere around people, and it becomes it becomes more and more aligned with the reality, my belief between um, the belief that I have that I'm a nuisance, and the reality. It's the gap is getting smaller and smaller as I practice being in those situations. So yes, I hope that you can find something helpful in that. I don't know if you have the same issue, but I think that um, forcing myself and really putting myself out there helped me a lot to come out of my shell and have a more fulfilling life, and even see myself in a different way, seeing that the reaction is not what I thought it would be. Then it just counter confirms what I thought, what I originally thought, and that I put in my head all by myself. Yeah, if you have any issues with self-esteem, or if you want to talk about it or whatever, just join me every Saturday. I share a little bit of my experience, and then I am on Instagram as well if you want to contact me there, or leave comments below. And I'll put a little post as well in relation to that subject that I hope can be helpful, maybe clearer than the video if you don't enjoy watching the video. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye!